gentlemen, did you enjoy the little space tour that Zero Boy took you on just now? Could you visualize how absolutely remarkable space can be? I mean, really, he took us there. I could feel him putting on the spacesuit. I could feel him zipping it up. I could feel the helmet going on. I could feel the catheter being, and the diaper. Oh, Christ, how embarrassing. They never talk to you about that stuff. Like when you get into astronaut school, do you understand you get a catheter and a diaper? You know that? I know you were very entertained by that, and all I have to say is we got a guy coming up. If you like space, you're not going to like space after this next guy. I can almost guarantee it. K-Rob, are you ready with the big thing on the thing? As you're sitting there really thinking about it, I want you to think at the same time about all the things you absolutely love about space. Everything you could ever imagine about space. When you were a little kid, you wanted to be an astronaut. When you were just thinking about it, so every moment of every day you wanted to go up to the stars, and how excited you were. And then tonight you came here and you saw Zero Boy on the stage, and it was so funny and so entertaining, and everything was just so bright and beautiful and absolutely glorious. You're like, that is my dream. My dream is to continue to want to go out into space one day. Prepare, ladies and gentlemen. Prepare for the one and the only Pete Goldie to crush those dreams. Hi, Pete. Switch on it, Pete. I thought you were a science guy. Did you figure out how to turn on one goddamn fucking light? When you're done with this, fix the phones at the radio station, too, would you? No, don't do that.
Yeah, that was good.
We promise you lots of really bad inside jokes tonight.
Hello, John Hal.
Hi, Pete Goldie.
There. You're not rude to me tonight. I don't get it.
Oh, just wait. I'm getting started.
Okay, all right. This is great, folks. Thank you, K-Rob.
K-Rob, can we play it again?
The big finish. Yeah. I am so hard.
Did you notice how Zero Boy pissed in Michael Pepe's drink? That was so awesome.
Thank you, Zero Boy. And thanks for the lead-in, Zero Boy. That was fantastic. Look at that. That's the show. It's the Ask Dr Hal Show Space Science Report for tonight. By the way, for those of you that missed it, we had a report at our satellite campus in December. Yeah. And those of you who are taking the course for credit are required to have that material memorized as well. So I want you to pay attention to that. And you can get the notes from other classmates who were at Point Arena for this.
You never told us you were taking notes.
Oh no, everything is on the test.
I'm shit out of luck.
Everything. And by the way, here, what we're looking at right here is, we're not ready for that yet, there. But that is, we're going to start out here with the Ask Dr. Hal Show. I have to point out something here. This is Mars, and right there is a crater on Mars. That's Gale Crater. And that's where the next Mars rover is going to land, hopefully. It'll either land there or it will land there in a couple months. It's on its way, and sometime the end of the summer. But first, there's so much that has happened since the last Ask Dr. Hal Show. There's more material we have to put in. Douchebag Space Commander Newt Gingrich had claimed the moon for America. Finally. It's absolutely, and it's too bad, though, that he chose that moon, because there are so many more interesting moons than, frankly, the moon we got here in the neighborhood. And we're going to explore some of those other moons tonight, and you'll memorize everything, I think. We're going to take a look at some new data from the moon of Saturn, the Saturnian moon of Titan. And on that, they are using something called a synthetic aperture radar, which is this large dish. You see, look up here? This is the Cassini orbiter in orbit right now around Saturn. And that large parabolic dish in front of there is an antenna, which is used to create radio waves that bounce off the surface of the moons of Saturn to give you radar images, synthetic radar images. It's called synthetic aperture radar. And they also use the same antenna to beam back those nice little pictures and all the data and all the bits back to the Deep Space Network and turn it into pictures for NASA to try and get more funding. Now, this is one thing that they can do with it. The synthetic aperture radar really has amazing resolution, considering it flies by very fast around Titan and all those other moons there. I'm bringing this, I've actually shown this before, but what this shows is longitudinal sand dunes on Titan, which are basically created the same way they are here on Earth. The ones here in yellow on the right are from Saudi Arabia. The ones on the left are from Titan there. The only difference is that these are made of sand, silicon dioxide. These are made out of frozen hydrocarbon dust. And
of course
yes,
they are.
Yes, we know that because we have spectrographs and things like that. Yes. Now, I'm actually not getting into this synthetic aperture radar picture because we have some new synthetic aperture radar pictures of the other moons. Now, they built this parabolic dish here to just do the pictures of Titan. This is a crater on Titan taken to the optical. That's the best they can do through that thick, dense methane atmosphere of Titan. But as you see it blink back and forth as this GIF is not working, when it does turn into a synthetic aperture picture, it's much sharper. We'll just go to the next one. Here is the Moon Enceladus. Now, they did not design this antenna to hit Enceladus, but Enceladus turned out to be an exciting place, an exciting Saturnian moon, because Enceladus, on its southern pole, has erupting geysers that just don't belong there. But there they are. And you can not see it in this image because the sunlight is not shining it up. So we'll look at the next picture, and we'll see these are the geysers erupting from the south pole of Enceladus. The next picture is an optical shot of the area right here is where these geysers erupt. These so-called things, they call tiger stripes, but they're just basically rifts or cracks in the ice-covered surface of this ice moon on an icy area of our solar system. And it's spewing out about 2 bathtubs full of water vapor every second into space. Most of it lands back on the planet, making it the most white place short of the Republican Party. Oh! And there it is. And they squirt out there. But now they decided, hey, let's try our synthetic aperture radar on Titan. So they did, and the next image is going to show it to you. This one's going to work, really. And here you go, and you're seeing optical synthetic aperture. Optical synthetic aperture. Those scientists have to look very quick to see stuff with these stupid pictures, but they do. And anyway, but that shows it's actually higher resolution, and they can look into the cracks of the ice on Enceladus and try and figure out how does that water get out of there, and why is it there, and why is it squirting out, and what's the heat source. Something of a mystery. Somebody will figure it out. Some people think it's tidal forces. Some people think it's a buried nuclear reactor. Who knows what it is? It'll turn up eventually if they just keep funding this stuff.
And you'll report it, Pete.
You bet. Now, here's
whether
what
we want you to or not.
Here is something absolutely new to me.
What?
They decided to try that synthetic aperture radar out on a third moon of Saturn, the moon of Iapetus. Now, Iapetus is also special. And Iapetus is special because it's sort of a yin-yang moon. One half of it is the darkest surface in the solar system, and the other half of it is the brightest surface in the solar system. And we're going to switch to that image, and again, see what the synthetic aperture radar will show us that. Here's the synthetic aperture radar, here's the dark part, here's the light part. And with that, they can actually see more detail with the synthetic aperture radar than they could with the optical pictures. Hooray for microwaves coming off a giant parabolic dish on this orbiter, orbiting around Saturn. It's been there for many years, and it's going to be there for about 7 more years before they send it down into the Saturn's upper clouds, where it will melt and be crushed.
I bet Zero Boy has a sound for that. There it is. That was it, right there. There you go. How'd you do that?
There you go. I would like to move to a different planet. There's another mission on its way to another planet in our solar system. This is the Juno Spacecraft. It is launched from Cape Canaveral last August. It was launched on August 5th as a 5-year mission. And here's the news about it. 3 days ago, it had a deep space mid-course correction. It's on target.
I had one of those last night.
Yeah, it's good. It's doing fine.
I feel a lot better now.
Now, there's something a little different with this. This is the first deep space probe that's using solar panels. Instead of thermonuclear radioisotope heat an electricity generator.
That's what she said. Sorry, I had to go. Oh.
If you give me any trouble.
I know you go long.
I was there when Hal Robbins fired Chicken John.
Oh my God.
I was showing you up.
I saw, it's absolutely heartless. Chicken John was there. He brought his mother over to meet Hal. Hal yelled at him for 15 minutes and then fired him in front of his mother. So you want to?
My mom's not here tonight, Pete.
Just letting you know.
Just want to let you know. She actually is.
You might be the host, but it's the Ask Dr Hal Show. Just want you to know. Something interesting, again, talking about moons. We all start with moons because of Space Commander Newt Gingrich. Next image, we have something new about moons of Jupiter. They found 2 new moons of Jupiter. There's one, and that's the same one. Yeah, I don't have a picture of the second one. But there's 2 of them. They found 2 new ones, and they're both about 1 kilometer in size, very small retrograde orbits, which makes it a little bit tricky to look for them. You have to know where to not look to sort of see it. It's sort of the thing you don't see when it's a retrograde moon. You know that, John.
Totally.
That's right. Anyway, with any luck, Juno Spacecraft that goes there, we'll probably ignore them totally. Why? There are 66 moons of Jupiter so far. You know, there's just no time for all of them. You know, we've got other things to do. So that spacecraft will go there and use solar power to look at the poles of Jupiter.
Page 2.
One thing I've been very proud of here at the Ask Dr. Hal Show is the Space Report has always found a sponsor. Yes, and we had we used to do a Rinaldi sauce when Chicken John was there.
Yeah.
But, no more of that. We were sponsored for a while by Robert Levy Tunnel, the Robert Levy Tunnel that goes to Broadway. There, yes, this guy, and that's right. They collected the tolls for a week, and they paid us with a sponsor on that. But there's a new sponsor. If you bring that up here, I don't know if we're ready for the audio on that. Yes, it's a radio show on Radio Valencia here in the Mission.
Sucks. That's the worst show on Radio Valencia.
Nose Hair Link Gland. It's on Wednesday night at 10 o'clock. We're going to play their promo if we can get that up.
Nose Hair Link Gland.
That's the worst show on Radio Valencia.
Nose Hair Link Gland. It's on Wednesday night at 10 o'clock.
Nose Hair Link Gland.
Religious objects, weird ceremonies, snake handlers, and pot-smoking children.
With John Carpenter
A man everybody would like to have seen dead.
and Dr. Fiasco.
An audacious man of action, capable of a tender, hopeless love, which would only last a day.
Bunch of
A day
bozos.
which was worth all eternity.
Wednesdays from 10 p.m. to midnight.
It's going to be like nothing anybody has ever seen.
Let me get this straight.
They gave us $1,000.
It's a non-commercial community radio station here in San Francisco.
Yeah, they paid us $1,000.
Non-commercial, but they're doing commercials.
Yeah.
These guys suck.
Fantastic.
Worst radio station I've ever listened to. Radio Valencia.
This is also on its way to Mars. This is the Mars Science Laboratory. It has a stupid name, Curiosity. We'll ignore that. Anyway, it's on the way. It was launched last summer, and it's going to hit Mars also in a bunch of months there. I was talking about that. I showed you the crater it's going to land into, Gale Crater. It's going to look for some very cool things here. I'm going to show you what it looks like now, an artist rendering. There it is, the cruise stage, got solar panels in the back. But actually, when it lands there, contrary to almost all the other landers that have gone to Mars, it has a thermonuclear generator to power it when it lands or crashes on the surface.
Does it have a water bed in the back?
No, that's it. It's a thermonuclear generator is located in the rover's ass, by the way. As you know, and it will go, and it's going to be incredible if it can make it. It's going to show you where it is in its orbit. It left Earth in last summer. Earth has now progressed from the launch point to this point. Mars has progressed to here. It's right there. It's that green area there in this high-resolution screen. If you're tracking, I'd give it about 6 more months and into Gale Crater, and then it's going to be all over the news for about 2 weeks. So we'll enjoy that. While we're at it, something I learned just recently about this spacecraft as it's cruising through space. They have on it a calibration target for the fine cameras that are going to be studying the minerals of Mars when it gets there. And notice what they put on the bottom of that. They put a penny. They actually ground into some metal and took a penny and glued it on to the target so they could do what every single geographer does with this stupid little digital camera when he's out somewhere looking at rocks. They put a penny down so you know the size of things.
Oh, they got to pay for parking.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Whoa! But
Not in the mission.
now this isn't any old penny that they put on there because it's NASA after all. This is a 1909 Lincoln penny. And if you're a, what do you call it? A coin collector, what are they? Newman Nerd? Yes. If you're a complete nerd, you would know that the 1909 Lincoln penny was the first penny with Lincoln on it.
No way.
To honor, I believe, the birth of Lincoln.
Okay.
Which actually was the same day that Charles Darwin was born, by the way. So it's not ironic. But I'd like to point out that this being NASA, do you think this cost NASA 1 penny more to put up this $1.7 billion mission, plus 1 penny to put it on the calibration thing? So I decided to do a little research. It can cost anywhere from $1.83 to $1,489.
That's what they got.
To get that 1 penny. Now, if this is NASA, which penny do you think they used? Come on. You're not going to stick any old penny on there.
A pencil.
So again, and of course, there was probably, they had to check it out. They probably had to get 100 of them to find the right penny with the right dimensions and everything. So it cost more than probably 1 penny to stick the penny on the calibration target. While we're talking about Mars missions, let's go back and talk about another Mars mission. Yes, the Russians tried just to do a Mars mission recently. It was called the Phobos Grunt mission. Nice name. Grunt is the Russian word for dirt. It was going to get dirt from the moon. Again, moon of Mars, Phobos, was going to land there, get some dirt, put it in a little capsule, fly it back to Earth, plop it down somewhere, and hopefully in a dry place they could find it. Unfortunately, it never left Earth orbit. It got into Earth orbit and orbited there until January 15th and re-entered. And they've done extensive accident analysis at the Russian Space Agency to figure out what happened, and they came up with a complete bullshit story about what went wrong with that mission. But before that, they first wanted to blame it on the U.S. military for zapping it from a giant radar facility we have at Kwajalein Atoll for checking on our missiles and missile defense system. Yeah, which did not happen. We did not zap it with that radar, or the HARP radar in Alaska, or any other radar. If you actually study this picture closely, you can see that you have guys here wearing dungarees and sneakers in the clean room. And what they're doing here, right at this point, this is ready to be encapsulated with the fairing and go right on the launch thing. They've actually already fueled the spacecraft, and they're in there with soldering guns. They found out that the cabling for the rocket engines were backwards. And just before they launched it, they went in there with some wire cutters and resoldered all the cables in the other direction.
Sure, why not? I did that to my Toyota once.
Yeah, and how was your Toyota doing? Still in orbit?
It drove backwards just fine.
Yeah. Yeah, well, this one got backwards, and it landed pretty much somewhere between the Pacific Ocean and the Brazilian jungle. Did not make it to Mars. But hey, everybody makes mistakes. Everybody has a problem. This is NASA's problem recently. NASA has a boat that carries rockets to Cape Canaveral. And the boat went through the wrong part of the bridge in Tennessee. Inside that boat are 2 Delta V boosters and some other parts. And in front of the boat is part of the bridge that it was not supposed to gather as it went downstream. The good news is the rockets are fine. And the boat's a little bit, but the bridge is sort of like the Phobos Grunt mission. They're going to appropriate some more money from Congress to fix that, I'm sure. Yeah. These accidents happen. Now, there are some good things, some amazing things that the Russian scientists have done lately, and I'm going to point that out now. This is space related. Next image, please, Robert. They have finally penetrated into Lake Vostok in Antarctica. This thing is 13,000 feet under ice. It has not seen light or air in 20 million years, they say. And they finally got down. They've been drilling here for 20 years. They finally got down to the bottom of it. And they gathered some of the water, and they brought it up, and they said, hey, you know what's in the water? Kerosene and Freon, which is the lubricants they use to do the drilling. But they didn't want to contaminate it, so it's okay. They're going to go back. It all froze up. They left there because it got cold again. And they're going to dig it up again, and they're going to find out what's been under the ice there. Monsters. monsters, like my daughter. They're gonna find it, just like that. And there are monsters everywhere. You don't have to go to Antarctica to find monsters. And if we can, are you gonna play that last little thing while I leave? I've had it for you guys. Remember, it's all gonna be on a test. Hey, Goldie, ladies and gentlemen. I warned you.
So you were a skip-jack. So you were a skip-jack. You have a cute daughter, though. Michael Pepe might want to date her.